Pregnancy is a journey, and during pregnancy, a lot of changes occurs in both the mother and the baby. In today's video, I'm going to talk about the changes that occurs in the baby during the second trimester of pregnancy. Your baby is growing and he or she is going through a lot of developmental changes so that by the end of the 9th month, he or she will be fully developed before delivery. Hello, my name is Bevelyn Ofori. The second trimester of pregnancy starts from the week 13 to the 27th week. Let's start with the 13th week. During the 13th week, your baby will weigh about 25 grams and he or she will measure about 7.5 centimeters from the head to bottom. During this week, your baby can swallow. As a result of that, he or she will start swallowing some of the amniotic fluid which is surrounding her in the uterus. Your baby's kidney will also start producing urine. So, the kidney will use the amniotic fluid that your baby has swallowed to produce urine. And after the urine is produced, he or she will urinate the urine into the amniotic fluid. As a result of that, the urine will become part of the amniotic fluid. Your baby 10 tiny fingertips are developing ridges, and these ridges will hold their unique fingerprint. And this unique fingerprint will be fully formed in a few more weeks to come. Your baby hair follicles have also started developing soft and fine hair called lanugo. Lanugo will begin to appear on your baby's skin during this week. And by the 20th week, lanugo will cover the whole body of your baby. Lanugo will hold a strong, greasy substance called vernix caseosa on your baby's skin to help coat and protect it from the amniotic fluid so that it does not irritate the skin of your baby. Because the placenta is fully formed by this week, it has taken over from the yolk sac to provide nutrients, nourishment, oxygen, and also excrete any waste product from your baby during this week till the end of pregnancy. Both the external and the internal organs of your baby's reproductive system also continues to develop and mature during this week. We are now in week 14. During the week 14, your baby measures about 8.5 centimeters long from the head to bottom and also weighs about 90 grams. During this week, if you could peek your eyes inside your womb, you see that your tiny baby have started practicing squinting, frowning their face, and also making a poker face. You would also witness a lot of movement during this week. Your baby is becoming more active as the pregnancy advances. You might see them wriggling around, stretching their whole body or stretching their arms, or even practicing breathing by taking amniotic fluid in and out of their lungs. Even though most of your baby organs have developed, they still continue to mature and grow. By this week, your baby's intestines are already working on your baby's first bowel movement, which is called meconium. Your baby liver is also making bile, and your baby thyroid glands is also beginning to make hormones. We are now in week 15. Your pregnancy is advancing. Your baby is growing, as well as their organs is also growing and maturing. By week 15, your baby measures about 11.2 centimeters from the head to bottom, which is for the crown rump length, and measures about 16.5 centimeters from the head to their hairs, which is also for the crown hair length. Your baby also weighs about 114 grams or 4 ounces. During this week, even though your baby's skin is still developing and maturing, the skin is still very tiny and translucent. Your baby is becoming more and more active. There is a lot of movement during this week. Your baby continues to move their legs, their arms, stretch their whole body, and also continues to do their breathing exercise. Some of the bones in your baby's skull, spine, shoulders, collarbones, and long bones have already begun the process of hardening and ossifying, but the bones of your baby's hands and feet will begin to harden and ossify during this week. We are now in week 16. During week 16, the crown rump length of your baby measures about 12.4 centimeters, and the crown hair length of your baby measures about 18 centimeters, and they also weighs about 144 grams. Your baby's muscles is growing to complete their skeleton, and also the nervous system continues to develop to allow the muscles in your baby's limbs to flex. Hairs is beginning to appear on your baby's eyebrows, and also your baby have started moving their eyes, which is beneath their closed eyelids. Due to that movement of your baby's eye beneath their eyelids, your baby will start touching their eyelids during this week. Your baby's taste buds and taste pores have developed. Due to that, because the amniotic fluid takes the flavor from the food that you, the mother, eat. Yes, it does. As a result of that, the working taste bud and taste pulse of your baby helps your baby make taste preferences from the amniotic fluid in uterus. We are now in week 17. During the week 17, the crown rump length of your baby measures about 13.5 centimeters. And the crown hair length also measures about 19.6 centimeters. The weight of your baby is also about 150 to 179 grams. Your baby eyebrows and eyelashes continues to grow, and they are also getting bigger and stronger as their muscles and bones continues to develop and mature. Your baby have started to make more adipose tissues or fat tissues during this week, and a lot of these tissues or fat cells will appear in their face, neck, and stomach wall. Then later they will appear at the back, the shoulder, arms, legs, and chest. The work of these fat tissues appearing in your baby's body will function as insulating your baby's body, storing energy, protecting organs, and also filling out your baby's futures. The placenta and umbilical cord are also steadily maturing or growing. The umbilical cord is getting thicker and longer to nourish your baby, whilst the placenta is expanding and increasing circulation to deliver nutrients and oxygen to your baby. Your baby can make sucking movements with their mouth and also drink some of the amniotic fluid. During this week, sucking and swallowing by your baby is not coordinated, and this will be coordinated around the 32nd to 34th week of pregnancy. And the sucking reflex of your baby also fully matures when they are around the 36th week of pregnancy. We are now in week 18. During this week, the crown rump length of your baby measures about 14.7 centimeters, and the crown hair length also measures about 21.2 centimeters, and they also weighs about 222 grams. Your baby is growing. He or she have made a lot of progress. Your baby is practicing how to sleep and take a nap during this week. The internal clock that regulates their sleeping and waking up skills will become more organized as they continue to grow and mature. Both the internal and the external organs of your baby reproductive system also continues to develop and mature. Your baby is also beginning to form myelin, and myelin is a mix of fat and protein that insulates and protects nerve cells in the nervous system, including the brain and the spinal cord. And this myelin helps message to travel along the nerve's pathway faster. We are now in week 19. During this week, the crown rump length of your baby measures about 15.8 centimeters, and the crown hair length also measures about 22.8 centimeters, whilst your baby weighs about 272 grams. Although you will not see your baby's teeth after birth or even few months after birth, your baby's primary or first set of teeth are developing. Also, the hair canal in the skin on top of your baby's head that holds the hair is fully developed. The hair on your baby's scalp will also become visible between this week and the 21st week. Your baby during this week is also developing brown fat, and these brown fats will be needed by your baby after they are born to keep them warm outside the womb or uterus. During this week, there is a protective thick, wax-like, greasy, and white coating on your baby's skin at birth, and this is called vernix or vernix caseosa. So most of the time, a lot of babies, after they have been born, you will see this protective white-like greasy coat on their skin. And this is called vernix caseosa. And this vernix caseosa have a lot of functions. It helps moisturize the skin of your baby whilst they are in the uterus. It also helps regulate their body temperature. It also creates a waterproof layer on your baby's skin to protect their skin from the amniotic fluid and anything that will irritate their skin whilst they are in the womb. Your baby also continues to put on weight to help fill out their wrinkled skin. We are now in week 20. During this week, the crown ramp length of your baby measures about 17 centimeters and the crown heel length also measures about 24.3 centimeters, whilst your baby's weight is also about 330 grams. The vernix caseosa, which is forming on your baby's skin, continues to build up so that it can protect your baby's skin. And also by this week, if your baby is whether a male or female, their reproductive system have also developed significantly. Your baby's hair follicles are getting longer, whilst the eccrine sweat glands begin to form. Your baby's gallbladder is also producing bile, and bile helps your baby body to digest nutrients. We are now in week 21. Your baby is growing. He or she continues to develop and mature. By this week, the crown ramp length of your baby measures about 18.1 centimeters, whilst the crown heel length also measures about 25.9 centimeters. The weight of your baby is also about 350 grams to 398 grams. Around week 11 to week 20, your baby's eyelids were closed. But during this week, the closed eyelids are now beginning to separate. Up until this week, your baby's liver made most of their red blood cells. But now, their bone marrow is becoming a major contributor to help your baby body produce more red blood cells. And by the 24th week, the bone marrow will take over as a primary producer of your baby's red blood cells. Lanugo hair also continues to appear on your baby's body, and it is believed that lanugo helps regulate your baby's body temperature, and it also helps vernix caseosa to stick on your baby's skin to help protect the skin of your baby. After the placenta was formed, it was heavier than your baby. But from this week onwards, your baby, who continues to grow and develop, have gained a lot of weight, is now heavier than the placenta. The placenta is still delivering the majority of your baby's nutrients, but your baby's digestive system is developing and maturing to take over to deliver nutrients to your baby after they have been born. Your baby's pancreas is also making enzymes that will break down food for digestion. Your baby's small intestines is also growing longer, and they are absorbing nutrients from the amniotic fluid that your baby have swallowed. We are now in week 22. During this week, the crown ramp length of your baby measures about 19.2 centimeters. And the crown heel length also measures about 27.4 centimeters, whilst your baby weighs about 476 grams. By this week, your baby's heartbeat can usually be heard through a stethoscope. And difference between the heartbeat of you, the mother, and your baby can be differentiated through the number of beats per minute of you and your baby's heartbeat. The tiny hands of your baby can now move independently. They can even grasp the umbilical cord and also cross their hands. Your baby is growing rapidly and taking in a lot of calcium. And this calcium will help the healthy development of their bones and teeth. Your baby's skeleton, which is forming and developing, also continues to ossify and harden so that they can be very strong. We are now in the 23rd week. During this week, the crown ramp length of your baby measures about 20.3 centimeters. And the crown heel length also measures about 28.9 centimeters. And your baby also weighs about 565 grams. Your baby's tiny lungs are not yet able to work properly. They are still developing, but your baby is still practicing breathing movement by taking amniotic fluid in and out of their lungs to help them prepare breathing for life outside the womb or uterus. Your baby's brain is also developing quickly and rapidly. Your baby fingernails also during this week have reached the tips of their fingers. Your baby continues to build more muscles, and this is helping them to become stronger. Your baby can also respond to light as early as 23rd week of pregnancy. Especially if you have a flashlight and you shine the flashlight directly to your belly, your baby might move or react to it. Our pregnancy is advancing. We are now in week 24. During this week, the crown ramp length of your baby measures about 21.3 centimeters, and the crown heel length also measures about 30.4 centimeters, whilst the weight of your baby is also about 665 grams. Your baby have made a lot of progress. They are putting on weight as the weeks goes on. Your baby is in a rapid growth mode and putting on about 3 to 6 ounces of weight each week. But part of their weight gain is coming from the addition of fat. Your baby's lungs continues to develop and grow because they need their lungs to help them breathe in after they are born or after birth. As a result of that, your baby lungs is making a lot of surfactants, and this surfactant is a natural substance that lines the tiny air sacs, that is the alveoli in the lungs, which makes breathing possible. Your baby's inner ears that controls hearing and balance is also developed. As a result of that, your baby may begin to respond to sound during this week. Your baby's eyelid, which was closed around week 11 and started separating around the 20th week, is now separated during this week, and they are beginning to take their final shape. We are now in the 25th week. Your baby have made a lot of progress. Your baby is growing. He or she is developing. All the organs are maturing and developing well. By this week, the crown ramp length of your baby measures about 22.4 centimeters, and the crown heel length also measures about 31.8 centimeters, whilst your baby weighs about 778 grams. Your baby have put on a lot of weight. He or she is getting bigger as the pregnancy advances. By this week, your baby continues to move a lot and becomes more active, and he or she may even respond to sound or touch directed to the abdomen or belly. The hair on your baby's head is growing, and also the lanugo hair on your baby's skin, or that covers the body of your baby, also continues to grow, and it might even be well established during this week. The bone marrow in your baby's body by now have taken over the production of red blood cells from the liver, and by this week, the bone marrow is the main site of red blood cell production in your baby's body. A very loud noise might make your baby jump and kick, and even sometimes you, the mother, you can feel the kick, and also they are making a lot of urine as a result of them swallowing some of the amniotic fluid, and this helps the kidney to prepare for life after birth. Your baby's lungs have made a lot of progress, but they still continue to develop because they have to be ready to support your baby to breathe after they have been born. We are now in the 26th week. We are closer to the end of the second trimester, and your baby have made a lot of progress since we started from the early stage of the second trimester. By this week, the crown ramp length of your baby measures about 23.4 centimeters, and the crown heel length also measures about 33.3 centimeters, and your baby weight is also about 902 grams. By this week, all parts of your baby's eyes is formed or develop, and your baby even have a visible eyebrows and eyelashes. How exciting is that? Your baby internal and external reproductive organs also continues to develop and mature. Your baby's intestines also continues to develop and mature, and also they are absorbing nutrients from the amniotic fluid that your baby have swallowed, and also produce enzymes to break down nutrients. Your baby is becoming more and more active and stronger, and they have even started to display some reflexes such as the Moro or startle reflex, palmar or hand grasp reflex, plantar or foot grabs reflex, and etc. Congratulations, your baby have made a lot of progress. We are now in the last week of the second trimester, and your baby keeps on maturing and growing. By this week, the crown rump length of your baby measures about 24.4 centimeters, whilst the crown heel length also measures about 34.7 centimeters, and the weight of your baby is also about 36 ounces. Yes, our baby is getting bigger and he or she is preparing for life after birth. The brain of your baby by this week is even more active than ever. The neurons and synapses, that is where the brain cells meet, are forming and making a system of complex connections throughout the whole areas of the brain. Your baby lungs also continues to develop and mature to support your baby with breathing after birth. Your baby is also taking a lot of practice breath or breathing practices, that is taking amniotic fluid in and out of their lungs. And this practice is very important because it helps in the development of the lungs. Because you are getting closer to the end of pregnancy and your baby needs the lungs to help support their breathing after they are being born, your baby is taking about 10 to 20% of their time to do these breathing practices so that it helps their lungs develop and prepare them for breathing after they are being born. This is the end of this video. I hope you enjoy it and see you in my next video. Bye bye.